Alright, can you guys hear me? Just want to do a sound check, make sure that, that you guys can hear me. There's people, a few people that are here. There's no one here right now. So. Can you hear me? Check sound, check sound. Check sound. Guess I gotta check it myself. Check sound, check. Oh, we're good. All right. Alright, just making sure on a few things. We're going to post this on here so we can get people in here, and we'll start looking at some trades and looking at some opportunities for trades. We'll start looking at some trades here in a minute. Can you guys hear me? No, Jarvis will run on, well, Jarvis is running on the US30 for live accounts, but on FTMO, Jarvis is running on several different accounts. But right now, Jarvis is only running on live accounts that are not FTMO, only on the US30, correct? But for the FTMO version of Jarvis is running on, I think it's 12 markets. So that's pretty cool. We kind of switched the focus for now onto FTMO so that Jarvis can pass FTMO challenges, and now we'll get it back and we'll put it on other markets. So yes, on live accounts that aren't FTMO accounts right now, it only is US30. But on FTMO accounts, it will trade several different markets for you. But right now, yes, you are correct in that. Excuse me. You are correct in that aspect. All right, so just letting a couple other people know. And you can see I have sells on the US30 right now in this account. I have sells on the US30 at 35.025 right around. So we're up a little bit on the US30 on sells. So you guys see that? Let's see if I click this in it. You guys can't see. Yeah, see, this is the sucky part. Let me just do something real quick. It just kind of pisses me off a little bit. I guess I have to do this, right? I have to move it over. I have a curved screen, so the curved screen makes it so I'm not sure how to fix it so you see everything. But I think that will do. Hey, how's it going, man? I think that will do it. I'm just making sure that when I move this, okay, so you guys, we can move it a little bit more because I want it to cover the whole screen, obviously. You can move it right about to there, I think. Does that work? I don't usually do this, guys. I'm not a big fan of YouTube streaming, to be honest with you. So now you can see, though, the sell I'm in on the US30. And we'll see if we get the move down that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a nice little move down on the US30, potentially to, yeah, so we finally meet. And look, man, hopefully you weren't mad at me. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I was just saying that I thought that was a little bit more risky trade last night, but it worked out well for you, and that's awesome, and I'm happy for you. But I'm looking for the US30 to pop down into these levels here. We have a pretty significant level at 34,941. That's right here, right? And that is a pretty significant level here that we're testing right here. I'll make an X on it, and then YouTube is always a little bit behind, so but I'll make a little X on it right there. That's the area obviously we're getting close to right now at 34,941, and I'm hoping that we can push down below there to the next support level, which would be down at 34,757, which is right down here, and it's a support level because of this high basically on July 26th right there. Well, yeah, I'm in a sell, so hopefully I think so. So I'm hoping it goes down to that next level at 34,757, which is the high from July 26th. Okay, but obviously we have to get through this first level that we're kind of sitting at right now, and so we'll wait and see. It's still early in the evening. It's not even London session, but I'm really hoping that we can get a push down. And then if we go down below 34,757, there's a lot of room down here before you get to another major support level, which would be this level right here, somewhere right in here at 34,604, and that would be around the high from July 20th. So absolutely, I'm thinking sells. I want sells. I'm in sells, and I'm up on sells, right? I'm up on these sells right now. So obviously, I do want that. Let's just open up the terminal and see what's going on. I'm in sells, and I'm up on those sells, right? Oops, we don't want that whole thing like that. Sorry. We're just going to make it look like that. So you can see I'm up 41 points on this sell right now. So it's near close to where I would want to put my stops at break even and just let it do its thing. And that's probably what I'll do here in a second. In fact, maybe that's what I'll do now. I'll put it a little bit. We'll just do the stop loss at 35,018, which is about 4 points below where I got in. So at this point, it would be a no loss trade. And so obviously I want it to go my way, but I'm going to protect and not let it go against me. Sloan, that's a really good question. If you trade the US30, the US30 is definitely a beast, right? And it's a volatile pair. But it also depends on what time frame you're trading it on, right? Like usually I'll trade it on the 1 hour chart, and a 200 point stop loss on a 1 hour chart on the US30 is nothing. And I know people are like, oh my gosh, a 200 point stop loss. Yeah. When you're trading higher time frames, you have to have bigger stop losses. But again, the stop loss doesn't necessarily matter as long as your risk to reward is good, right? People have a 5 pip stop loss and a 10 pip take profit, 2-to-1 risk or 1-to-2, whatever you want to call it. So if I have a 200 point stop loss and I have a 400 pip take profit, it's still that 2-to-1 risk to reward or 1-to-2. It really doesn't matter, but when you're trading this and you're trading it on higher time frames, you definitely have to have deeper stops. So usually I'll start my stop at 200, but once I get up 40 or 50 points, I usually will set my stop at break even. And I'm usually about 85% accurate with the signal that I have. So there's 2 ways to kill a bird in this industry, right? You either have a really good risk to reward, and if you have a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 risk to reward, you only have to be right 4 out of 10 times to make money. Or you can have a really big winning percentage and have a not as good a risk to reward. So there's 2 different ways of handling it. My winning percentage is 85%. So people are like, well, a full stop loss would be 200 points for you, but you set your break even at 40 to 50. But I win 85% of the time. So every now and again I'll have a 200 point stop, but I at least get 40 or 50. You see what I'm saying? So there's 2 different ways to do it. I kind of do it the other way, but I like to have my 2-to-1 risk to reward. But I guess I do it a little bit differently, if that makes sense. But there's 2 different ways to kill a bird in the trading market. A really good risk to reward where you don't have to win, your winning percentage can be lower, or a really high percentage, and your oh, I just took off my US30. Did I? No, okay, never mind. It has to be like that because of this. Alright, no, that's weird. What happened to that? What the hell's going on here? I'm sorry, guys. I don't do this a lot. And I took out one of them, didn't I? I took out one of them. Oh, gold. I took out gold. Alright, so we're going to have to put gold back on here. We definitely want gold on here. It's like, wait a second, what happened to my... And it might be... I'm trying to find it again on this. Huh. That's weird. I totally took out gold. So... That's really weird. There it is right there. My fault. That was my fault. Because gold is the one that a lot of people trade, so we definitely want to have that one on here. But I always have gold. So let's just put gold right here. It's my bad. We know we can have it all the way to there. So we need to make this. I need to figure out how I can make my split screen so I don't have to adjust my charts a little bit, but we'll deal with that for now because I don't really care what my charts look like. It's not really technically about how your charts look, it's about how you make money. 200. So 200 points I'm willing to lose on the US30. 200 points. But I'm also, again, looking for 400 to 600 point moves. So it's all relative, right? And this is what a stickler I am, guys. I think you'll find this really funny. But this thing is all messed up for me because I always have gold over here. So this is what a stickler I am. I'm going to put gold back where I usually have it. And that because honestly, it was just weird to have gold be the first chart because that's never where I have them situated. So I am actually going to move the charts where gold will be the chart on the right, which is insane and OCD for sure, but that's just what I'm used to. And when I started looking at that, it was kind of uncomfortable having gold be the first chart to the left and not the US30. So that is kind of OCD a little bit for me, but that's just the way I do it. So there you go. I don't know why that's important. When I started looking at that, it was weird. So yeah, I'm looking for a nice move on the US30, but now my stops are at break even, and we have 10 minutes left to go on the 1 hour time frame, and I'm not seeing anything right now. Because what do I look for? Remember, those of you that were in here last night, how I trade is I want to see a wick or a tail longer than the body of the candle in order to get into a trade at the close of the 1 hour chart. So let me give you an example again. This one down here would be a perfect example of a tail at the bottom being longer than the body of the candle, right? That tail is longer than the body, and it doesn't have a wick at the top. So that's my buy signal, and I would enter that trade at the opening of the next 1 hour candle. So I would enter that trade right here where the opening of the next 1 hour candle happened. Okay, that's how I do buys. I look for that rejection candle, and then I enter it at the opening of the next 1 hour candle. If I want to sell it, I'm looking for a wick at the top, just the opposite, right? I'm looking for a wick at the top longer than the body of the candle if I want to sell. Does that make sense to everybody? If I want to buy, I want a tail at the bottom longer than the body of the candle. If I want to buy, and if I want to sell, I want a wick at the top. And this is a pretty good example of one right here. This would be a good example. Right there, that wick at the top for a sell is longer than the body of the candle. I would enter that trade at the opening of the next 1 hour candle, and I'd do pretty good on that before it comes back up. This one I would lose, and you're going to lose every now and again. Anyone who tells you their system is 100% accurate, like I tell people all the time, you need to run away. Okay, no system is 100% accurate. None of them. And anyone that tells you they are is trying to fool you. So that's what I look for. It's pretty simple the way I do it, and I obviously want to align it with the higher time frames. So what I do is I say, what's the trend? And on the 4 hour on gold, and I do the trend a little bit differently, I think, than most people. I don't do trend lines, and you'll never see indicators on my chart. Like I said before, I'd rather get kicked in the balls than have indicators on my chart. I think they're a waste of time. That's me. That's my 2 cents, and you're on my stream right now, so I get to say that. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Dude, sorry. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So, what was I trying to do? I want to see, oh, this is what I was trying to do right there. Perfect. I want to see a wicker tail longer than the body of the candle, but I also want to see what the trend is. And on the 4 hour, if I look from where my chart begins, the 4 hour looks like it's starting to be an uptrend, because I draw the trend basically by drawing it from the beginning of where my chart starts to where it is here. And if you look at that from there to there, it is definitely an uptrend. Okay, so if I draw it from there to there, it's an uptrend. People do the trend differently, and that's fine. That's how I do it, and it's like I said, it's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. Okay, so I would consider the 4 hour right now, just based on that chart, an uptrend. The daily would be a downtrend, the weekly an uptrend, and the monthly an uptrend. Okay, so you have 3 of the higher time frames of the higher 4, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. 3 of the higher time frames are saying bullish. So I want to obviously look for opportunities to buy dips, because the higher time frames are saying to. When I agree about indicators, RSI will say overbought, and it continues shooting up like there's no tomorrow. Learned my lesson early with the trash. Yeah, they're garbage. I'm sorry, but they're lagging indicators. And a lot of the times, by the time an indicator tells you to buy or sell, the move's already 40%, 50% done. So you'll never see indicators on my chart, ever. But I am looking for opportunities to buy the dip, because 3 of the 4 higher time frames are an uptrend, right? 3 of the 4 major time frames are an uptrend. So where do I look to buy those dips? Obviously, I want to buy it at major support levels. I don't want to buy it right now. I want to buy it if it comes down to 1825, because 1825 is a major support level from July 20th right here. So I don't want to buy it unless it comes to 1825 and starts giving me that rejection candle that I'm looking for. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I don't want to buy it unless it comes down to 1825 and gives me the rejection candle with the tail longer than the body of the candle. Okay, so I would not buy it again unless it came down there, or the other scenario on the buy side would be that it breaks above what it's been trying to go above all day, but it hasn't been able to, right? So if it breaks above 1832 and then pulls back to 1832, I can still buy it, right? Because it's coming down, it breaks a resistance level and pulls back, and that previous resistance now becomes support. So if it breaks above 1832 and then pulls back to 1832, I can buy it. But I want to see it break 1832 by a decent amount, 30 to 40 points, and then pull back, and then give me that rejection pattern. That's the other way I could buy it at this point. But none of that is happening right now. In order to sell it, it would be the same thing, right? I would have to have it come up to this level here that we're talking about at 1832 and give me that rejection to the sell side in order to sell it. Or like the buys, it would have to not go up there. It would have to come down, break 1825, pull back to 1825, then I can sell. Okay. So obviously right now it's 3 minutes till the close of the hour. You do actually have the sell signal on here. You have the sell signal. That candle wick at the top is longer than the body. Is it at the greatest place? No, it's not. But if we truly believe that the pattern is 85% accurate, then this should be a no-brainer, right? It really shouldn't. So I was just saying you shouldn't, but if we believe that the pattern, and I believe it because I've tested it, and that's just the way it goes, right? So if we're to believe that, then we would take this right now, and we probably will. Okay, and our stop loss, if we want, our stop loss would have to be above that swing high. Okay. So in 2 minutes here, if we get that pattern and it works like that, then the numbers tell me to sell. Well, what I'm saying is, Amar, if I know that my pattern, this pattern that we just were talking about, the wick at the top longer than the body of the candle, if I know that pattern over the long haul is going to be 75 to 85% accurate, what should I do? If I know over the long haul that that pattern is right 75 to 85% of the time, what should I do? At that point, it should be a no-brainer, right? You should just take the trade because 75 to 85% of the time you're going to win. So whether it's forming a double top, whether it's doing whatever it wants to do, the numbers dictate to me that I should take that trade if in 2 minutes it does. Now you're starting to see it come up a little bit, and it may not. The wick at the top may not be longer than the body. But if it was longer than the body and it closes in 1 minute, then the numbers dictate that you take the trade. Now you're counter trend trading to the higher time frame trends, so your expectations on what to expect should be different. And this one's close, right? I mean, this one is close. Now you see you're going to start measuring. We got to start measuring from the different points. So you have the top of the wick right there. You have where the bottom starts right there, and I don't think it's going to be long. So you got from 1829. So you got like a 1 point, a little over 1 point. And if you go from the body, and this is getting a little bit technical, right? This one's kind of you have about 1 point, and it's about the same, right? I like to see it a little bit, maybe a little bit more than just right at even, but the numbers dictate that we do this, so guess what? We do it. And if we lose, we lose. So here we go, new order. And if we lose, right? Losing is a part of the game. Anyone who tells you the system that they trade is 100% accurate is fooling you. Okay, they're fooling you. Anyone who says their system is 100% accurate is absolutely selling you a bill of goods. Okay, so now we have to figure out what our stop loss is, though, because we want our stop loss above that swing high at 1832, and we want it a little bit above that swing high. We don't want it right at that swing high at 1832. We want to push the stop loss a little bit higher than that, just in case it wants to come up there and touch that and then go down. So I think I'm going to place my stop loss at 1836. So let's go to the terminal here, and we'll go to stop loss at 1836. I've passed 3 in a row. This is the 4th one I've done in the last week, and I've passed 3 in a row so far. I've passed a $200,000 one, a $50,000 one, and a $10,000 one, and this is one that I started just today. I started this one just today, but I've passed 3 in a row, and so I'm going for my 4th one in a week. And those other 3 are past both phases. So I have 3 accounts that have passed both phases, and now this one I just started today. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Right now we're up 26 bucks, and I have to make 1,000, right, in 30 days, which is fine. That should be easy. So we'll see on this gold. It's definitely counter trend, right? So it makes me a little bit more nervous to be doing this counter trend, but the numbers again dictate that I take that trade. And whether it wins or loses, I don't really care, because that's what the numbers say to do. All right. So for me, it's a numbers game. It's nothing more than a numbers game. I'm a robot. It's a good question. I don't know. No, I'm doing it for me. Just and then I have my algorithm that's rolling on a couple of them. That we created the algorithm for FTMO to pass FTMO and have all the rules in place. So it's just a couple things I'm doing, honestly, just for me. And the $200,000 account, I still have to trade, I think, another 7 days or 6 days, right? Because you have to take a trade every day. So I have to take a trade every day for the next 6 days before it becomes an actual live account. But I can show you that account too. So maybe it's just for me because I don't have that account up and going yet. Let's see here. This is it right here. Okay, so you can see when I do that is the second phase of that account is at $210,025.55. And I can show you the account history on this one as well. I don't know, just for me, Sloan, I guess I'm kind of crazy. Just call me crazy if you want. There's that. We will in a second. We can do that in a second here. But there's the account history on that. It was started, this was the verification phase that started on 7/22. And I almost nailed it on that first one. I actually would have nailed it on that first trade. It didn't end up going down to where I would have made 10,000 on that first trade. But that was a really good one. And then I did a couple, then I lost, and then I had a couple other good ones. But I don't have the live account up just yet. Yep, no annoying lines or anything. It's just numbers game to me. And again, should there be any emotions in trading if you know you're going to be right 75 to 85% of the time? Should there be any emotions in trading? I don't think there should, right? There shouldn't be any emotions. If you know that over the long haul you're going to be right 75 to 85% of the time, you should be a robot. You should be a robot. You should be a robot at that point. There should be no emotions in trading. Hold on a second, guys. So there is that right there. So that one was passed pretty quickly, and I think it was 727. So it was only 2 days ago. So we still have like seven or 8 days of having to take just a trade a day. But that one is passed. So that one is passed. So we'll go back to the other one. That one is done and passed. So okay, so you wanted us to dive deeper into gold. Well, I mean, gold to me is still an uptrend. Okay, I still believe in an uptrend on gold, but you're starting to form lower highs, right? Every time it goes high, it's forming lower highs. So we might need to go a little bit lower before we go up again. It's forming lower highs, right? And it had a hard time trying to get above that 1832. So usually if that happens, it's going to have to dip a little bit before you make another move up. So I don't know if it dips down to here where it's at right now, 1827, and then it gains enough buyers to go up from there, right? And makes another move at that, breaking that high, or I don't know if it has to go a little bit lower, maybe down into this 1825 area from right here. But overall, I'm bullish on it. So at one of these levels, it most likely is going to make another run at that 1832. And the more times you make a run at those levels, the weaker those levels become. So if we make another run at that 1832 with any kind of momentum to the upside, I think we'll finally break it. But it might have to come back down a little bit and then go from there to pick up some more buyers, right? To pick up that momentum. Okay, because you had several chances today to break it and you weren't able to. So it might just need to pop a little bit lower to gain the momentum. We'll see. And that's what reading the candles are about. Okay, if you look at the candle that's forming right now on the 1 hour chart, it's red, right? So it's showing some rejection, but it's really not doing anything, and only because it's not really the right time of day. This isn't the right time of day probably to be trading. It's a little bit early. It's, it's not the London session at all. So this is a pretty slow time in the markets to be taking trades. But we'll see what happens. But the numbers dictate that I take that sell, and that's why I did. Whether I win or lose is I don't care. I really don't care. I just know that I'm a robot, and that's what it said to do. So I'm a big believer in those numbers, huge believer in those numbers, because I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for 17 years, and I'm a huge believer. I back tested that thing like a mother fricker, and it's right 75 to 85% of the time. That pattern that I showed you guys, any time frame, any pair, crypto, futures, forex, any time frame, any pair, if you just traded that pattern, you would be right over the long haul 75 to 85% of the time. So with that being the case, again, at that point, it's just a numbers game for me. Does that make sense to everybody? Hopefully that makes sense. It's really not complicated, and trading itself isn't complicated. People make trading way too complicated. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. Trading is really, really easy. But people want to make it way too complicated, and it's not. The other thing that people do too that I just find extremely fascinating is my Telegram link. If you want to just add me on Telegram, I can add you. My Telegram link is at Yak Steelhead, and my Instagram is Ironman Futures Trading. At Yak Steelhead is my Instagram. Anyways, so what I talk to people a lot about this new principle that just became true like 2 days ago, the buy low, sell high principle. I'm kidding, it's been around for a long time, right? The buy low, sell high principle has been true for long before we were born, and it'll be true long after we die. Okay, you don't go to a real estate agent and say, I really like this house, Mr. Real Estate Agent, but I want to wait till it goes up 15% to buy it. Who does that? Nobody. And if you do that, you're dumb. Or you don't go to a car dealership and say, I really like this car, but I want to wait till it goes up 15%. So in every other aspect of our investing life, we look to buy low and we look to sell high. And then when we go into trading, we invert that and we look to buy high, hoping that it will go higher, and sell low, hoping it will go lower. So we completely invert that theory of every other aspect of our trading or our investing, where we buy low and sell high, and then when we get into trading, we look to buy high and sell low and hope it breaks, right? So that's never made sense to me. I always want to buy at the best price possible, the lowest price possible, and I want to sell at the highest price possible. But most traders don't do that. Most traders do the opposite, right? And let's just be honest. And it's, it works out sometimes, but over the long haul, me personally, I don't think you'll have long-term success doing it that way. Let's just say that. I don't think you'll have long-term success trading that way, but I could be wrong, and if you do, that's great. But for me personally, I'm gonna buy low and I'm gonna sell high. Just the way it's gonna go. So we'll always do it that way, and I love stacking positions. I love buying more if it goes lower, or selling more if it goes higher, if I believe in the overall trend, right? So I don't mind buying more if I'm down, but I also plan for that, right? When I get into a trade, I plan my trade before I get into the trade. And my mentor always told me, plan your trade, trade your plan. And if you plan your trade in that planning phase, if you plan to add to positions when they go in drawdown, then there really shouldn't be anything to worry about, right? But people freak out. They're like, I cannot believe you add to losing positions. Yes, because I'm getting a better price to buy, or I'm getting a better price to sell. Why wouldn't I? But I'm not just going to do it at random levels. I'm going to do it at key support and resistance levels, right? So it's not just let's buy more because it's going lower or sell more because it's going higher. It has to be at a key level, and it has to give me that rejection that I'm looking for. Really not complicated. So really not complicated, but gold is starting to trickle down a little bit, and we'll just see. We'll see how this next 1 hour candle forms, right? And we'll see if it starts rejecting back up to a buy. If it does, then I might get out of that trade, because I am overall bullish on gold. So we'll see how it goes. I might, but I'm going to let this 1 hour candle start to play out and see what it does. So that's kind of the way I trade. I trade differently than most people. I'm a contrarian. I look to do the opposite of what other people are doing. I want to do the opposite of what other traders are doing. Because in reality, and I know it's harsh to say it, the majority of retail traders are going to lose, right? If the old saying is true that 80 to 90% of traders lose, then they're my best indicator. I just want to know what they're doing, and then I do the opposite, and I'm going to win. And that's why a lot of the times I go into those chat rooms, is to see what the sentiment is of the other traders, because they're losers. I'm sorry to say it, but most of them are going to lose. Right? I know it's harsh to say. But the markets don't care about our feelings. They don't care about my feelings. They don't care about your feelings. None of us are relevant in the markets. Hold on. So yeah, I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry that that makes people feel bad, but it's the absolute truth. So other traders are my best indicator. I'm sorry that makes people feel bad. It's just the truth. And we have to grow thicker skin as traders. If you get offended by something that some schmuck on the internet says, then how are you going to handle the markets, right? Because the markets will spit you up, chew you up, and laugh at you. They don't care. You think the US30 cares about your feelings? No. Do you think the US30 cares about my feelings? No. But the truth is, if you're in a chat room of 100 people on a YouTube, the numbers dictate that 10 people out of those 100 people are successful. The other 90 are losers. So I want to know what those 90 people are doing. I want to know what they're doing, and I want to do the opposite of what they're doing. Again, I'm sorry that that hurts people's feelings. They're oversensitive feelings. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. And truth and facts have to win over, truth, facts, and logic eventually have to win the day over how you feel, or, oh my gosh, this person hurt my feelings. Who cares? Who cares? Grow thicker skin. Have your balls drop. You know, your voice get deep. Nobody cares about your feelings in the market. Nobody. But you go into the YouTube chats and they're like, oh, you're so mean. Be nice. Well, no, I'm trying to teach people to have tough skin. I'm trying to teach them to grow a pair, you know, because the markets will eat you alive and won't care or shed one tear about you because they just don't care. Right? Okay? It's really, really not complicated. I know it's hard to believe. It's so mean. I'm a mean person. I don't care. Okay? Who cares? Grow thicker skin if that hurts your feelings. Okay, so gold is starting to come down. This is an FTMO account that I'm showing right now. It's an FTMO account that we're trying to pass. So it is a demo FTMO account, yes. Correct. Sometimes I'll stream with my live accounts on, but right now I've passed 3 FTMO accounts in a row and I'm trying to pass a 4th one. So yes, it is. You're absolutely right. That's not even the point of this stream though. The point of this stream is to show you guys what trades I'm in, or to show you guys kind of the patterns. But yes, you're right, it is. It's an FTMO account that I just started today. I've passed 3 of them in a row and I'm trying to pass the 4th one in a row. Does it make a difference to what we're trying to do? Does it make one bit of difference, whether it is or not? Because I wouldn't be trading any differently if it was in my live account or if it's in this account. What difference does it make? It makes 0 difference. Zero difference. Because guess what? I'm not here to try to impress anybody. I could care less what people think. I don't need that validation from other people that I will never meet. Yeah, no, it's fine. don't get my self-worth based on people that I probably will never meet in person. I derive my self-worth from other things, and I derive my self-worth from people that I have day-to-day relationships with in person, right? The people I wake up to in the morning, my wife, my children, I care about what they think. I don't care about what anyone on social media says about me, because I'll never meet 99.9% of these people and have any kind of meaningful relationship. So I don't put a lot of stock in what people on social media have to say. They can think whatever they want, because to me they're not relevant. They're relevant to some people, and they're relevant to people in their own lives, but to me they're not relevant. True, true. But you can read sentiment from being in there. But most of them just ask for buys and sells, which drives me nuts too, because that's not how they're going to learn. And so I'll be like, well, where's support, where's resistance? And they just go in there and they, should I buy and sell? And then what's funny about it is I did like 3 Instagram lives today with a bunch of people from that gold, and I told them I don't take a trade unless it's the close of the 1 hour with my pattern. And then you'll go back into the chat and say, these same people are saying, can we buy now? I'm thinking to myself, is there a close of a 1 hour candle? It's literally like 10:22 at night right now, and they'd be asking, can we take a trade now? What did we just tell you? We don't take a trade until the 1 hour candle is closed. The 1 hour candle doesn't close for 38 minutes. We just went over that, I'm like, so why are we asking this again? And that's why dealing with people, and that's why I don't usually like to stream on YouTube, because it's like, oh my gosh, we went over this. I will not take a trade unless there's a 1 hour candle close and it has the pattern I'm looking for. But then it will be 9:40 in the morning, and they'll be like, should we buy here? Should we sell here? And I'm like, there's 20 minutes left in the candle. Do whatever you want, right? I mean, you can do whatever you want. I don't really care what you do. But if you're asking me what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait for my candle close. Really easy. It's not complicated. But somehow it is complicated. Somehow it's just extremely complicated. Because people make it complicated. They think they have to. They think that it has to be complicated. And trading absolutely does not need to be complicated. A couple of years probably. I don't know. A couple of years. I had a really good mentor though. I had a mentor that learned from the bank guys. He actually sat down with the bank guys, and I had a mentor and he's a good friend of mine. He's a good high school friend of mine, so I've known him all my life. But he got into trading. He got me into it, and he to this day is the best chart analysis person I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm really good at it, and I spot my patterns, and I can see the patterns, and I know what's going on in the markets, and I can see what they're trying to do to me. But to this day, my mentor is the best at chart analysis I've ever seen in my life. He was a genius when it came to looking at charts. He could look at this chart and know what's going on. And so I'm pretty thankful that 17 years ago we started trading together, and that I learned from him, because he is without a doubt the best chart analysis person I've ever seen. And so I definitely got a leg up on the competition from learning from him, I'd say. He was unbelievably amazing at reading charts. And I was definitely very fortunate to have him mentor me. So very, 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 very fortunate. And he doesn't trade anymore. His wife and him own a bunch of dental practices, and he doesn't even trade anymore. I think he's just home with a kid. No, he does not, Sloan. He doesn't. He's completely gone. He's at home with his kids, and his wife is a dentist, and they own a bunch of dental practices, and he helps her run those. He has about 5 or 6 kids at home, and he's pretty much hanging out. Yeah, you'll never see him. I don't think there's anything. I still talk to him every now and again, but you'll never probably see him. And every now and again, he'll come and do a training for my class when I was teaching the classes. Every now and again, he'd come in for an hour and do one for me. But I don't talk to him very often anymore. He's a good high school friend of mine. I've got another high school friend of mine. We all 3 of us were friends together, and he used to trade too, and he no longer trades. So I'm like the last samurai. I'm the last standing person. But they're both incredibly good dudes. But yeah, you'll never see either one of them probably trade in at all ever again. So there you go. I guess that, yeah, like I said, that answers that question, right? That answers that question. But they're good peeps. They're good people. They just their time was done. They were done with it. And I don't blame them. I've been doing this for a long time. My time's going to come to an end too soon. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it for the rest of my life. I didn't go get a master's degree in clinical psychology and forensic psychology for nothing. I have challenges that I want to do. So I went and got a master's degree in clinical and forensic psychology. And that's where I'm probably going to go here in a year or so. I'll be done with trading. My algorithm will do all my trading for me, and I won't even look at charts. I probably won't even look at charts. It can be, but it also can be very detrimental to you as well as a beginner. Because if you get too many people flooding your head with too many ideas, it can be actually very detrimental to you, I think. It can be absolutely detrimental to you as well. Yeah, it's if you got to be focused, and you can't have too many people putting ideas into your head, because then you're just going to get confused. The best thing to do is to find a mentor, I believe. And I know people hate people charging money for class and everything, but the best thing you can do is find a mentor that will help you and do one-on-ones with you so you avoid the noise. It's like people going fishing. You know, I'm an avid fly fisherman, and I tell people all the time, the first time you go to a river, you should probably get a guide. Let's say I love Alaska. I go up to Alaska all the time. We used to live up there. And let's say you go up there and you have a 7-day trip and you've never been there. Well, the first day you should probably go with a guide, because then the next 6 days are going to be better for you, right? Go with a guide the first day. Let him show you the ropes. and then for the next 6 days you do it on your own. So if you're in the forex industry, or you want to be a trader, you should find a mentor that will kind of show you the ropes and make sure they're a good mentor. But YouTube streams are the worst place to, if you're a new trader, because most of those people are morons. They don't know what they're doing. And that's why I like to ruffle the feathers a little bit. Yeah, don't just take trades from people that you don't know have a clue what they're doing. That doesn't seem like a great idea to me. But then again, what do I know? I've been doing this for 17 years. Most of these people in those chat rooms, I was trading while their mummies were still wiping their ass. I was trading for longer than most of these. Most of these people in these YouTube streams, I was trading while their mom was still wiping their ass because they couldn't control their bowel movements because they were just little kids, right? They don't know what they're doing. The majority of them have no clue what they're doing. I like to go in there and ruffle the feathers a little bit. As you guys know, Sloan knows, and you guys know I like to go in there and ruffle them a little bit. It's just fun. Trading full time is actually 90% boring with 10% excitement, but especially if you trade the way I do and you have to wait for 1 hour candle closes, being a full-time trader is 90% boring because you're always waiting. You're always waiting for some excitement. It really is 90% boring being a full-timer. It's like, oh, I can't wait till I can quit my 9-to-5 job. I can't wait till I can trade full-time. I'm telling you what, man, when the kids are in school and this house is empty, it gets boring sometimes. And my wife works for her sister's company, a makeup company, just for a couple hours a day, just because she doesn't want to sit around the house and do nothing all day when the kids are gone. So she does it for herself, and that's awesome. So there's a lot of period of time that I have the house all to myself, and it's boring. It's really actually boring. So it's not as glamorous as you think it's going to be. For the most part, it's pretty damn boring. All right, we're going to hold here for another half hour, guys, and see if we can't get another trade. There's a couple things that are setting up on the charts, but we have a long ways to go. So we probably will be here for another half hour, and then I'm going to take off. But there's a couple things that look like they could be forming on the charts. Okay, so we'll stay here for a little bit longer and see if we can't get those opportunities. It's kind of boring sometimes, I gotta be honest with you. Alright, so the one that I'm looking at right now is the GJ. The GJ on the 1 hour time frame is forming that wick at the top longer than the body. It's always weird when you just go right to the... I just have to go a little bit bigger here, right? So that looks like it could be forming that one, right? Could be forming that, but we have, again, 25 minutes left in the candle before that. So there's potential for a sell there. You can see on this a couple of candles ago on the GJ, you had the buy signal, right? That was a perfect buy signal. You would have entered there. You would have made a little bit. You still wouldn't be stopped out because your stop loss is below the tail. And you would have gotten in right here at 152.80, and it made a high of 88. So you'd be in drawdown, but your stop loss would be below that tail. So you haven't lost yet on that. You wouldn't have lost yet. I always want to hide my stops a little bit below the low of that tail, maybe 10 or 15 pips on the GJ. So you'd want to have your stops somewhere right in, somewhere probably even down below there. It's because you also have this area here. So I'd want to avoid this area here and obviously avoid this area. So I'd probably have my stops around 152.45, and I got in at 152.80. So that would be about a 35 point stop loss. So you wouldn't be stopped out of that buy at this point, but this 1 hour candle is forming a sell signal. And so what you want to do on the GJ, you would go to the 4 hour and say what's the trend is up on the 4 hour, it's down on daily, it's up on weekly, and it's and the monthly one, look at that monthly candle. That monthly candle is a beautiful, beautiful buy signal on that monthly one, and the month ends tomorrow, right? Look at that monthly candle. That monthly candle is beautiful. That tail at the bottom of that thing is a beautiful thing. So we'll have to look at that at the end of the month tomorrow and see if it's still like that. Because I could definitely buy that off the monthly. But again, if you trade off the monthly chart, then your stop losses definitely have to be deeper, right? I mean, you're not going to have a 10 pip stop loss trading a monthly chart, right? That would just be completely asinine to have to do that. So if you're going to trade the monthly chart, I mean, you better have, and that's a lot. That's a 400 point area from where it's sitting right now to the low of that tail. So that's 400 points down from there, and it better be probably 500 to 600 points. I mean, you're trading the monthly chart. You're gonna trade. Your stop losses are going to be just deeper, right? But your take profits are also going to be deeper. So that's a beautiful candle. That tail is long, absolutely longer than the body of the candle. And if you were to just look at these, every time you've had this pattern, I'm going to see where these ones are. I think you're going to see this one. Let's see if when I draw this one, you see it on YouTube, or if you may not see it on YouTube. I might have to move this a little bit. Yeah, it looks like I have to move this a little bit even for that. No, you see it right there. See, if you would have entered that one right there at the opening of that next candle, you would have gotten in at 152.15, and it made a high of 156. You made 400. You could add 400 points there, right? And obviously your stops are at break even or way in profit if you get that much. Here's another opportunity on the monthly to do a sell right there, because that wick at the top is longer than the body. Okay, and you would have gotten in obviously at the close of that monthly right there at 150.49, and it made a low of 139, right? Way down there. You had another sell opportunity. We're just going over these because we have time. Possibly right there. That one has that one. We can do that one though. That's fine. And we can do that one. Those two are definitely sells. You would have made really good money on those. Here's a buy. You would have made really good money on that. Here's a sell, and it does really well. Here's another buy, and you make money on that. Again, it's a monthly thing, so your stops are a lot deeper. And you start plotting down these ones here. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. The tail longer than the body. There's one right there. There's one right there. There's one right there. And there's one right there. So you have several different examples of it, right? How many examples do you have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're just going to number them. See, I thought I was done. We'll just number them. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 examples. We got 5 examples. And I might have missed one. If I did, I apologize. It's not on purpose. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so 14 examples. So if you're going to trade the monthly chart, you're not going to move your stops to break even at plus 20 or plus 30 like you would on the 1 hour chart. You're going to move your stops to break even probably at 80 to 120 points, right? Because you're trading a bigger time frame. So just walk through this with me, and we're going to go over every example, and then I'm going to end this pretty quick. So at 180 to 120 pips, you place your stop loss at break even. You get up 120 to 140, you're going to place your stop losses at plus 40 probably, right? You're always moving your stops to more in profit. So maybe you put it at plus 40 when you get there. So just walk through these with me. Okay, do you make enough money on this first example to move your stops to at least plus 40? Absolutely. Right? Yeah, you go from this pattern works on any time frame, any pair, anything. It works on any time frame. We're just showing it on the monthly right now, but it works on any time frame. You can do it, trade it off the 15-minute chart. I don't really care what you do with it. Number one, you win. Obviously, you win. And what I mean by win is at 80 to 120 pips, you definitely win. That's a win. Number two is definitely a win. Number three is a loss, it looks like. I don't think you ever get, yeah. Number four is a win. Number five is a win. Number six is a win. Number seven is definitely a win. Number eight is a win. We're going to have to go to number nine. Number nine might be a little bit dicey here. But remember, we're trading a monthly chart, so you get in right here. At 143, and it makes a high of, makes a high of 144. Yeah, so you definitely are able to get it there. So even though number 9 is tight, you at least should have gotten plus 30, plus 40, somewhere around there. Number 9 you would win. Number 10 you would win. Number 11 you would win. Number 12 you would win. Number 13 you would lose. And number 14 is still to be determined. So you have 13 examples, and on those 13 examples, 11 out of the 13 you would have made really good money. So what's the winning percentage with that? What's the winning? Does anyone disagree with that? I say it's 11 for 13. What's the winning percentage? Get your calculator out. What's the winning percentage? 11 for 13. 85%? 85% accurate, like we've been saying, 75 to 85% accurate. And that's on a monthly. You can do it on the 15-minute. If you wanted to do it on the 15-minute, you can go to the 15-minute chart, and you can pull up every time it's had a wick or a tail longer than the body, and it's going to be about the same. Here's the 15-minute chart. We're already to the 15-minute chart. Okay, so start circling again every time you have a tail longer than the body or a wick longer than the body with very little to no tail. Okay, that one has a tail, that one has a tiny one, this one has too much for me, I think. That one's a good one. That one's a really good one. This one's pretty close. This is a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. We're going both to the buy and sell side, right? That's a good one. That's pretty close. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I don't like that one as much with the tail and the wick. And so there you go. Just today you had several examples of it on the 15-minute chart. Now on the 15-minute chart, your stop losses are going to be moved to break even probably at plus 15. Probably plus 15. You want to move stops to break even, and then when it goes more in your favor, you do it even further into your favor. But just go over these. Number 1, you enter the opening of the next 15-minute candle. So you would have gotten in at 152.95, and it made a high before it broke lower of right up here at 152.98. So you would lose on number 1. And again, I don't do this on the 15-minute chart, but you can do it on the 15-minute chart, and it's going to work the majority of the time. I don't do it. Looks like number 1 is a loss. This one's a loss, right? So just do your back test on this. The majority of the time, you're going to be able to get at least 15 to 20 pips on it. But what do I know? I've just been doing this for 17 years. What do I know? Nothing. Just some schmuck on the internet, right? It works. The pattern works no matter what time frame, no matter what currency. You can do it on crypto. You can do it on futures. You can do it on whatever you want. It works. It just works. Okay. Pretty simple. Not complicated. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Is that making sense to everybody? Is everything that we're talking about kind of making sense? I hope so, because it's really easy. It's really, really easy. And where they can, if you follow them. The problem is that most people can't, even if people give them buy here and this is the take profit. I mean, they can if the person that's giving them to you is really good and you actually follow the signals. The problem is that little thing called human emotions, and most of the time we can't follow things, like especially if they're giving you signals for a 10 pip take profit. Well, if they're giving you a signal for a 10 pip take profit, you better get in at the exact same price they do and have the exact same spread, or you're not going to be able to duplicate that, right? So if someone says to get into you at this level and you miss it by a couple minutes and you don't get the exact price they do, and they're looking for 10 pips, you may get to 8 and then it goes the other way, right? So if you get in at the exact same time as them and your spread is the same and all that, then they can work. I would never do it with that. Now, I've done signals before, but my stop losses are 40 to 50 pips or 60 pips, so people have time to do it. But that's why my algorithm does most of the trading, and most of my people that I used to give signals to, they're still around, but they just have my algorithm taking the trades for them. They don't even have to be around anymore. They just put the EA on their charts and it does it for them. You should, yeah. But the problem is human emotions, Sloan, as you know. Most people don't lose because they necessarily have the direction right. They lose because of the 6 inches between their ears. That's just the bottom line. So I'm getting to the point now where my algorithm will just do all my trading for me, and I won't even look at charts. And that's where I'm going. That's where the future is for me. Well, that's good. Well, then I guess you answered your questions. Because if you're making money, that's good. That's a good thing. We'll see how long that ends up being that way. So to buy, the tail has to be longer than the body, and for sell, the wick. See, I call it a tail if it's at the bottom, right? Then I call it a wick if it's at the top. So yeah, that's it. A tail at the bottom, longer than the body of the candle, or a wick at the top of the body of the candle, longer than the body of the candle to sell. At the close of the 1 hour candle, take the trade, your stop losses would be below the tail or above the wick, and that's it. It's pretty simple. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. Not complicated at all. Easy. Easy. It's just too easy. It's too easy. But yeah, that's about it. All right, guys, we'll go to about 10 more minutes. We'll see if anything sets up on the 1 hour time frame. And then if it doesn't, I'm going to bed. Go see what the old lady's doing. So we'll give it about 10 more minutes. If something sets up, that's awesome. If it doesn't, then I hit the sack and go to bed. And then turn my algorithm on and let my algorithm do my trading for the night. Essentially, I'm waiting for my pattern to set up on gold. I'm waiting for that exact pattern. I'm waiting for a wick longer than the body of the candle to sell, or I'm waiting for a tail longer than the body to buy. That's it on gold. And right now, that 1 hour candle that I'm looking at doesn't have either a tail or a wick longer than the body, so we'll give it 10 more minutes, and if it doesn't have that pattern, then I just wait till the next 1 hour. But right now, that doesn't have, the one I'm looking at now that's closing in 10 minutes doesn't have a tail or a wick longer than the body. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that pattern to show up at the close of a 1 hour candle. And if it doesn't show up in 9 minutes, I'll go to bed. I'll turn my algorithm on, because my algorithm will take the same trades based off that same tail or wick, and I'll let my algorithm do my trading for the night. So 8 minutes. If I don't have anything, then excuse me. If I don't have anything, I'll just go to bed and let my automated trading trade for me. Pretty simple, right? My streams can sometimes be boring because the trading style is so simple. And then what you find is after the hour closed, you're like, okay, now if I'm going to stay on here, we have to talk for another hour. Well, I'm on the 1 hour on gold, and mine isn't green, mine's red, and so it might be a little different than yours depending on the broker. But I'm on the 1 hour chat gold right now. It's not green, it's red. It does, yes. It works on funding talent, it works on FTMO, it works on all of them. And it will take the trades out at the end of the weekend. It follows all the rules. Yeah. It does. It works on all of them. It was just released last week, so to the public. But it will work on all of them. So again, sometimes my streams can be boring because you run out of things to say because you just have to chat for an hour until the next hour candle close. And I'm not seeing anything right now. The gold could actually pop up and be a buy signal. Go to bed. Kids are up. It's getting late and they like to try and sneak up. You can get a hold of me on Instagram. It does cost money. It's a monthly fee. You can find it at Market Wizards. I'll show you. But there is a monthly fee for it. I do charge, and I don't apologize for that because my time is valuable, and we did a lot of work putting it together. And it's based on my trading that I've done trading strategies that I've done for 17 years. So it is a fee per month, but if it doesn't pass your funding challenge in the first 30 days like you're supposed to, then you get your money back. But if you go to marketwizards.group, you can look at a lot of the different stuff right here. This is the algorithm, Jarvis algorithm. And this is the 4-year back test that was done on it from 2016 to 2021. It did 6,400% gain in 4 years on all the back testing, and the live results are actually mirroring better than even the testing, all the back testing did. But this account started at $500, and total net profit was $84,071. So, and we started developing this in December or November of last year. So you can go to marketwizards.group and you can learn about it. And that's the back testing on it. And the forward testing has actually been even better. So you go to marketwizards.group and it's $199 a month. But if it doesn't make you money the first month, you can have your money back because I don't need your money. Yeah, it's www.marketwizards.group. So even if you do it just on the live account or any live account or FTMO or funding talent, if it doesn't pass it for you in that 30 days you have to pass, you just get your money back. It's really simple. Really simple. And you sign up for an account there at marketwizards.group, and then you go to one of the subscriptions. And in order to do the funding ones, you have to do the unlimited version of Jarvis. So you sign up for an account, and then you sign up for the unlimited version of Jarvis, and then set up your funding talent or whichever one you want to do, and then Jarvis will trade it for you. You know what, and I never have either, Sloan, but I tell you what, there's been times in the last several weeks that I've woken up in the morning to $2,000, $3,000 in profit because my algorithms have been trading for me while I'm sleeping. So if I can make money while I sleep, whew, that's pretty fun, isn't it? Excuse me. If I can make money while I sleep, that's even better. Then I'm really onto something, right? If I can make money while I sleep. But don't take my word for it. If you want to get it, and it doesn't make money for you, then have your money back. Pretty simple. Okay, so what do we have here? We have nothing on these pairs that I see right now, and on the gold I'm a little bit concerned, but it's not quite the market time, right? I'm a little bit concerned that we haven't made more progress to the downside, but I'll keep it in there for a little bit longer, see if we can't get a little push to where I can at least place my stops at break even. The one other pair that I want to look at is the pound Aussie. I love the pound Aussie as well. So we're going to go to the pound Aussie. I love that pair. See if we have the pattern forming on that. Because if we don't, then I'm going to bed. Ooh, it looks like we might though. We might have it here on the pound Aussie in about 2 minutes. We might have it. 188.74. Tell me this is a 1 hour chart. We might have it actually. That wick at the top is longer than the body for sure. 188.81. I'm going to have to take this trade. I'm taking this trade as well. In a few minutes if it... And my stop losses will be above here. I'm probably going to have to take that. I'm doing it. So there we go. We're going to get one more. There you go. In it to win it. My stop loss is going to be at 89.50 probably. Okay, so there you go. The US31 stop loss is at break even, so I'm not worried about that. On gold, we're up. I'd like gold to maybe push down a little bit further. It looks like it might, so that's good. So on all the on the trades we're in right now, we're in profit on the US30. Excuse me, and that one, that top one, the stop loss is in profit. And we go a little bit lower on gold, we're gonna move that stop loss to break even. And then we'll do the other one. Look at that, we're rolling right now. We're up 1% almost on this account in the first day, so that's awesome. And so gold is making a little bit of a move down. So we are going to set our stop and gold probably at break even, because I'm going to bed and I don't want to monitor it, to be honest with you. But we are making a little bit of a move down on gold with that. There you go, see. But that stop is pretty tight, and I don't know if I want to do that, but we're going to probably, just because I want to go to bed. So we're going to do 28.50 is where we got in. And we'll put the stop loss at 28.25 probably. It's very possible. It's very possible. It's very possible it could go down to 18.20 for sure. 18.25 is obviously the next level, I think. But it's absolutely very possible. But I'm going to protect my profits here, because I'm going to hit the hay here in a second. And so two of the three of my trades stops are in profit, barely on gold and a little bit on the US30. And then the Aussie, we'll see what happens with that. I don't have enough of a move up on it yet to place my stops. So on gold, it very well could come down to 18.20. It very well could go up from here. We don't know. We just wait for the patterns. We wait for gold to tell us what it wants to do. And right now, we'll see. At this point, it's a break-even trade for me, so it doesn't really matter to me what it does. Does that make sense? I mean, I would love for it to go down further because I'm going to sell, but the trend is up, so I'm counter-trend selling, which isn't my favorite thing to do. And it looks like it's probably going to stop me out here, so I'm probably just going to get out of it. Just because there's, look, it's nothing. Just going to get out of it. Because I don't like the sells to begin with, and I'll live with it. There you go. Hoo-hoo, a whole $6. Woohoo! And then, I'll roll with that US30 because I'm up a little bit more. I'm up 55 points on that. And then the the GDP Aussie is in profit already as well. So I'm going to probably prematurely take that gold out, but it's just having a hard time. And knowing that it is an uptrend, I'm just going to take it out for the night. I gave it, a couple hours to push down, and it looks like it wants to start pushing up now. So it's really sitting at that 18.27 level, and it looks like it's rejecting that pretty good. So I'll take basically a break-even trade on that one. Any questions before I go? I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't like to stream on YouTube. I actually hate YouTube. I think they're a bunch of censoring free speech Nazis. They censor free speech of people who are more conservative in our country, America, and I hate that. I'm a big proponent of free speech. Whether I agree with your speech or not, you should be able to say it. But YouTube loves to censor people who are more conservative. So I don't like YouTube. I hate YouTube. And so I don't like streaming on here and giving them any play. But every now and again I get a wild hair and I decide I want to do it. So, but for the most part I don't, because I don't like them. Alright, everybody have a great night. Like I said, if you want to get a hold of me, Ironman Futures Trading on Instagram. is the easiest way to get a hold of me. I'll put it right here on IG, and then you can send me a message about the algorithm or whatever. Send me a message about what an asshole I am. I don't really care. Whatever you want. Send me a message about something. And it can be whatever you want. I don't really care. Alright, everyone have a good London session. And I will be back for the New York session at some point. During the New York session, I'll be around to finish up the week. Alright, everyone be safe. Have a good night. Be careful when you're trading. And we'll talk to you later. Go to bed, guys. Why do we keep getting up and down?